So it's been a while since we made a video, and we're going to take a look at our 4 colonies today. This first one we're going to look at is we caught it in a little teeny tiny swarm that was really struggling, and we're not sure if we're going to be able to get it strong enough for winter. We're still feeding it. We caught it about July 4th, and today is July 30th. So let's take the lid off and we'll see what we can find out. Bees in here now. I want to see if you can get the feeder out. One second. So take this out. You smoked it, right? Okay, so this is a new comb made from a blank empty frame, and you can see that a lot of the brood is hatched. So they've hatched their first brood, and it's small, but I think it's kind of growing. They're adding on to this a little bit since last week, and definitely since we went on vacation. Why don't you take out that frame right next to the feeder, and then I can put this one back in and we'll have room. You may need to pry it apart. Maybe just get that out of the way. You want to see if you can get the feeder out and
actually all the way out.
well, I want you to see if you can feel any liquid in it. I want to see if it's completely empty.
That's empty.
Right. So it's probably getting robbed. We're pretty sure that this colony is getting robbed by the other colonies and taking the sugar water. We're hoping it's doing more good than bad, but it's hard to tell. Do you want to just take out this frame and look at it?
Yeah.
Oh, they put a little on that one. Brand new. I think that's brand new this week. I'm guessing.
So this is brand new comb that they're working on right here. You can see they've added onto here, and the little dark spots that are on there are nectar. No. What's the word?
Pollen.
Pollen. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Which is their protein. That's the darker colored stuff that's inside the honeycomb.
Okay, on this one, this is interesting. This one is probably on round 2 of laying eggs, and I don't know if I can get this close enough to the camera, but you can kind of see some of the larvae right in here. Those are just within a week old. Can you see those in there, Les?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if I can see them on the camera, but I can see them.
That's what I meant on the camera. So right in here?
It's hard to tell. Scoot it closer. So right inside there, I don't know, depending on the angle, but there's, yeah.
And the queen's probably on this one, so we're probably, and there's larvae in this one, so she's laying on round 2 on this one. So, so probably shouldn't keep her out too long.
So you want to just this.
Yeah, but let me put this in before you put that one in. Slide it more over.
Bees are very calm today. They have been a little aggressive lately, but we think it's likely because of the feeder that's in here and the other colonies that are basically right next to this one
Off this propolis.
are sending their bees in to rob the sugar water that's in here, because right now in Missouri there isn't much nectar, or there's not much nectar flow, so there's not much for them to find out and about, so the other bees are coming in here and taking the sugar water. But at the same time, they need to be fed so that they can make more honeycomb, and unless they make more honeycomb and get a little bit stronger, there's no way they're going to make it through the winter. They're just so small.
Alright, so that's about it. We're going to close this up. We'll stop the video.
We're going to just put some sugar water in here and the little feeder that's on the side, and which probably will start the robbing all over again, but we're hoping that it's doing more harm than good. But otherwise they seem to be doing fine. They're hatching bees, and hopefully they're getting strong enough to make more honeycomb so that they can store enough to last them over the winter. We'll close that one up.
Okay, this is hive number 4. We caught a swarm in late July, off the ground.
Late June.
Sorry, late June, off the ground, and it didn't have a queen. It was originally here in this spot, and then we caught another swarm off a bush, and we put it in here, and we realized the old number 3 didn't have any queens, so we combined the two colonies, and they seem to be thriving. So we're going to do a little inspection. Want to smoke them a little bit more?
Front or top?
We'll have both. Alright. Let's see how many they have up here.
Still nothing really on this outside frame.
Same for this one. We're not building too much on this, which means we probably can feed them another week.
This one has brand new comb that they're building. 3 little sections. The new comb is, I love the new comb because it's so white and it's just perfectly clean, and it's very soft, so it's very easy, especially in the heat, for it to get bent. And they'll eventually attach those 3 pieces together.
Don't do it one with.
So you can see that one also started out as 3 sections, and you can see that they've just gotten bigger and bigger, and now they're starting to blend them together. Look at their stuff. They're just putting this together, putting it aside. This frame is heavy. So this has foundation in it. So this, we gave them a start, and then they've been just building honeycomb out. And then you can see over on the side here where it's white, where my index finger is, that's all capped honey. And there's honey all the way along the top, and then also on the back.
This is completely full. You can see where they've capped the honey. If you can see kind of these white caps on this side as opposed to on the bottom, you know, kind of the bottom middle, they haven't capped it yet, but this is full of honey. It probably weighs a good 10 to 12 pounds.
I don't know. You want to open them up? I don't know. Do you want to see if they're laying up here?
I'm guessing they're not.
Was all the laying in the bottom?
Yes.
Not very heavy, but there is some capped honey here, but a lot of clear nectar, and you can see some capped honey here.
Oh, we got some brood on here. So this has some brood on this side.
This is brood here. You can see that it's darker than the capped honey. Capped honey is usually white, and brood is kind of a tannish color. So the queen's been up here in the top box laying.
Got a little bit of funky.
Yeah, we do. I do on this one as well.
Comb. Oh, that one's all the way into the second one. I'm gonna have to scoot it over more. So you can't see this on this side, Les? We need to scoot it
There's
over.
tons of capped brood. Tons of brood on this frame. Some that have hatched. On this frame. And then quite a bit on this frame that's hasn't hatched yet, and then they put honey around the outside of it. They've made a big hole for them to pass through because the frame next to it has a big poked out spot
This
of
one's
comb.
probably really heavy. Alright, so do you want to keep the video going for the box too, or should we just stop it on this one?
I don't know that we need to.
Okay, why don't you stop that?
Yeah, so we'll stop this one. Everything looks good. We're going to just take a peek in the bottom box, make sure that there's brood in the bottom and that everything looks good, and then this queen seems like she's laying and they're building honey. And so this hive we won't harvest honey from this year because everything that's in this box and this box will be for them to survive the winter. So the more that they build, the better, because then that gives them more stores for the winter. So this hive seems like they're doing great, that we merged two together, which was the first time we've ever done that. That was a little bit experimental. And so far it seems to be working. So we'll just take a peek in the bottom and then we'll move to the next one.
Alright, so this is hive number 2. This is the colony we originally bought as a nuke, and then it swarmed twice. We sold both of the swarms, and it's really come back and come pretty strong considering this is its first year. So we got a honey super on here. We're going to check to see how much honey we'll be harvesting next week.
Starting to build a little bit on this outside frame, so they are still building, and it's got nectar in it, so they're still collecting. The question is whether that's filled with the sugar water from the other one that they're robbing. That's the part we don't know about. There is a frame almost entirely filled with honey. Hopefully that's where you can see it. That's exactly what we want to see. You can see that it's almost entirely white. So the bees have capped that with wax, which means it's at the moisture level that is perfect for honey. They put the cap over the top of it. You can see this side has a lot of honey in it, and they're just starting to cap it. So they fan it and reduce the moisture content till it gets just perfect, and then they put a wax capping over the top of it, which means it's ready to harvest. That's honey we're going to be eating very soon.
It looks like mine here, these are all capped. So can you see if that's capped on that side?
It is.
So I'm thinking we got, is that capped on both sides?
Yep.
So we've got one,
Mostly.
two.
Well, this side, actually this side isn't all the way capped, but it's got
So
nectar.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full. That half, this half, that's 6.
Six.
And then the other side, it's not capped, but there's nectar.
Yeah.
So
really we have six full frames in this one that are capped, ready to go, and a couple other ones that are, like the one on the back side of this one is filled with nectar but not quite capped.
and then so we got honey built. This one's really not built, I don't think.
A little bit, yeah. So we
That
really
one's
have
probably built.
we have really three that are completely unbuilt.
All right. Do you want to take them into the lower box, or should we stop it?
See if you can see this little guy right here. This is a drone. So this is a really big bee. You can see he actually looks like he's dying or injured. Drones don't have stingers. Those are the male bees, so their sole responsibility is mating with the queen. They have big beady eyes, and they have just a bigger body, and they're totally harmless to hold. I could hold it with my bare hands because they don't have any stingers.
Alright, do you want to stop the video, or should we keep going? We gotta do that, so we want to stop that.
So we'll stop this video. We're going to go take a peek in the bottom boxes, but we expect that all is well in the bottom boxes. We do have another honey super that we need to check for hive beetles on, and so we'll do that, and then we'll take a quick peek in number 1. That one should be interesting because we had to put a new queen in there a couple of weeks ago, so we're super curious to see if she started laying eggs. So that will be our next one. All right, so this is hive number 1. We just took off the 2 honey supers. You can see them, they're laying on the ground. The bottom honey super we looked at, it's mostly full. Just about all 10 frames are full, about 9 are full. This is the one that we replaced the queen just a few weeks ago. And so we are really, really hoping that we are going to find brood in this one today, because she should have been a mated queen, the one that we replaced, or that we replaced it with, and so we're crossing our fingers. There is a queen cup. Here, let me show this, actually. This is kind of interesting. So this little cup right here, if you tip it that way, you can see these are cups that the bees will build when they know that a queen needs to be replaced. So there's nothing in that one, it's empty, and that could have been there from before because they knew that the queen needed to be replaced. I'm just going to make sure that you can see that. Yeah. The queen needed to be replaced. So it could have been from before. We're hoping that it's from before and not because they don't like their new queen.
There is some new larvae right there. Look at that right here.
Oh yeah, quite a bit of it, yep.
Too much. Oh, look at that though.
Oh yeah.
So that's a little more solid pattern.
Yep, that looks good. mostly honey, I think. Get that one out. Yep, this one's mostly honey. A lot of clear nectar and capped honey around the outside.
Alright, this is completely empty. The pulse.
No, there's larvae in there.
Oh yeah, there is. What a great pattern, though.
There's a bunch on this side too. So a bunch of larvae in this on this side.
Oh, quite a bit more on this side. That's actually...
I'm going to take this over. I'm going to try to do this where I can see. So in where all those, it kind of looks, I don't know, on the film like it's capped, but all that has larvae in it. Where those bees are, those are just babies. They're kind of white. I'm going to kind of tip this a few different directions. Hopefully you can see that, but that means the queen's laying, so that's really good news. Some new larvae on this one, but also those big ones are drones. Lots and lots of drones on this one, but also a lot of larvae too. A lot of drone, but new larvae as well.
Queen cups. But, you know, we found them last time.
I almost wonder if we should take the queen cups off just so we know if they're new. Frames are really stuck together. They put this stuff called propolis in there, and boy, it just, everything sticks like glue. This one's mostly honey, a lot of nectar. Mostly honey. Lots more drone, which are the big, all this big brood. Those are drones, those are the big bees. Which there was some of that before we replaced the queen. Some brood.
You know, what we don't know is if this slow down lighting once this hot.
One of the things, it's been really hot the last few weeks.
And we know the honey flow's over.
And the honey flow is mostly ended, so...
Oh, there's a good, look at that.
That's got a lot of brood actually on it. All this is a big brood pattern and quite a bit on this side as well.
So that's good.
So that's encouraging, and I see some larvae in there, which means that's newer and hasn't been capped yet. So what we don't know, being first-year beekeepers, if anybody watches this and has an opinion, is whether when the honey flow reduces, if the queen slows down her laying because we have nothing to compare it to.
I think so.
It makes sense that she would, but we just don't know. So we don't know what's normal.
Just move it slowly, don't move out of the way.
We tried and we did it. So some spotty brood, some decent looking brood, a few queen cells, fair amount of drone, kind of just a hodgepodge of all kinds of stuff.
Good.
So we'll cross our fingers.